We're coming in to talk with you, and you better take Marley and introduce him to Sally, if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, there's Marley. Meet Sally, the sheep, and the sheep has picked up all the knowledge of the ridge over the years and all your visitors.
Those sheep, they just run around after these people and gather the stories and absorb the knowledge.
What are you going to tell us about what you do here then, Barbara,
I
today?
look after Sally, for one thing.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, and I try to tell the stories too.
But do you also drive the buses still?
No, I don't. I retired after 16 years. I thought I'd done that long enough.
I thought that's what you told us last time that we were here.
I did.
And tell me, nobody else could do so really, I don't think, as well as you, about how Lightning Ridge got its name, please.
Well, Lightning Ridge, we are on ironstone ridges, and ironstone attracts lightning. So we have some pretty magnificent storms here.
Yes.
And the ridges, well, that's where we find the opal.
But
it wasn't Aboriginal land here, but they sought out the ridges in times of flood.
Yes.
So they would have been terrified of lightning. The original name, Walluнгalla, is an Aboriginal name.
Yes.
But nobody could spell or pronounce that.
No, nobody could.
No.
But
so that's why it became Lightning Ridge, but not officially until 1963, believe it or not.
And why was that? Because there's another story that I have learned about the name Lightning Ridge, about the shepherd.
Yes, oh no, that's true. There was a massive strike.
Yes.
Killed the shepherd, the sheep, even the dog. And that was documented by a known author.
And there's a monument to that event, isn't there?
There is. We do have a little historical site. And of course, that's the beauty of the Historical Society, is we are preserving what we can because we know our future is in heritage tourism.
How is tourism going?
Well, wonderfully. Wonderfully. We're on the trail to the Long Reach Hall of Fame. We have our own Hall of Fame here.
And of
that's
course,
what Marley was going to find out.
And we've done a whole lot of that. We have scratched the surface quite significantly, but what we haven't talked about, you've just talked about all the way up to Long Reach, but then you've got the Ball Baths Trail too.
Well, we do, because the Great Artesian Basin lies under 22% of Australia.
That's right.
And the interesting thing about that is that the opal fields occur very close to or within the boundaries of the Great Artesian Basin.
And here the water comes from how far down?
1,000 meters deep, comes naturally at 52 degrees centigrade and cools to about 40 in the baths.
And Marley's been out to the Ball Baths.
Well, I think they have it a little bit cooler for the kids over school holidays.
And we also took your recommendation and went next door to see Jenny yesterday.
Oh, good.
And oh my, what a story she had. What particular story might you like to tell us about the ridge?
The particular story I would like to tell is that the people who live here came here because they wanted to. It's not a place where people were placed by the government.
Yes.
We have a 24% Aboriginal population who chose this place or were born here. And they're very mixed with the Europeans, over 60 nationalities. We're a real melting pot.
Multiculturalism works here, doesn't it?
Does.
As does resourcefulness,
Yes.
make do,
We love recycle.
experimentation.
Oh, yes.
And Wally told us the other day about recycling and recycling the recycling.
It's just about comes to that. But that's the challenge we enjoy.
Yes.
And we make something out of nothing because we're here to stretch our resources, to enjoy the beautiful weather, and there's a certain freedom to live as you please. You don't find that very often.
There's the freedom, there's entrepreneurship, and there's the other thing which I think is very important, which is mateship.
Yes, but still there's an independence, and some people wish to resume space,
Yes.
and they become very protective of that space and independence.
And particularly with the mining community.
Yes, they've come here to be their own boss.
Yeah.
They don't want any intruders.
And you can come here as a teenager and overnight you can, with luck.
Or a 70-year-old trip over the Big Opal.
Yes, not many of us do.
Retirement. Well, you've got to be in it to
Got to
win
be in it to win it, haven't you?
You do.
What other story would you perhaps like to tell? You see, I've talked with the Black Opal. I've been out along the 3 Mile. I've seen the things that you talk about there. I've talked to miners. I've talked to Les about the building of the aquatic centre, what those figures and things that he had there. I met Mark or Marley
Yes.
met Mark out at the new
Caravan Park.
caravan park. We've done much, and we talked to some of the jewellery shop owners.
I would like to say that the Historical Society for me, and I think for many people who want to become part of it, makes me feel welcome in a new land, a new home that is now my home. And once you appreciate the past and how a place came to be, then you are in love with the place and you know it loves you.
And we know how well you do this particular role of looking after the Historical Society. And we also knew, of course, how well you did as a bus driver taking tourists around.
Oh, you can tell I love to talk.
I know that. We don't. Where did you come from originally?
I grew up in the Middle West U.S., Iowa, which is where the tall corn and fat pigs are. But I emigrated here from Munich in Germany.
But also the mink.
Mink, I don't know much about.
Cedar Rapids. I've been to Cedar Rapids.
Cedar Rapids is where my grandfather was born.
See, I've been there and I've seen those great big drains. They're not drains, they're waterways, and that's where the mink are.
Okay.
Did you not know that? Didn't you?
I know nothing about mink.
Really?
We had horses and pigs.
But you came here from Germany.
I lived in Germany. I worked for Radio Liberty. I was a gypsy. I was on the road. And then I found Australia and found Lightning Ridge. I've been here 20 years.
20 years,
yes.
Isn't that wonderful?
And now I can give back to my new home, Australia, because the people here have been so good to me in my travels.
It's a marvellous place, isn't it?
Yes.
What is the last word, might you say? Come to Lightning Ridge and see.
The last word that I would like to say is that Lightning Ridge, the name alone, has an attraction.
Yes, it
has.
has.
You must come here and experience it.
Yes.
And experience that freedom that we do enjoy.
That's lovely, thank you.
And when the tsunami comes, we'll be glad we're in the regions.
And of course we've had the floods recently.
Yes, for 12 months
For 12 months it's been floods all around us, and it's really been almost an isolated island, hasn't it?
It has, but we do not take water for granted.
Yeah, isn't it marvellous?
It is.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Barbara.
Thank you, Marley. And